Hello, welcome to Just Vintage Crochet, and I hope everybody had a wonderful new year. This is our first mystery pattern of 2026. I hope it's okay that our setting is a little dark and warm. It is the middle of the night, it's the middle of winter, and I don't feel like working under an obnoxious bright light tonight. So we're going to have a cozy setting here. If you're new to the channel, what I have here is a stack of patterns that were compiled for me. The titles, the pictures are removed. We have them, just not attached. The titles are blacked out. Anything within the pattern that could give it away is blacked out so that it's truly a mystery until we're done making it. This time around, the majority of our patterns do come from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. But if you really like the older stuff, or should I say if you like the really old stuff, I have an entire playlist of videos featuring Victorian era patterns going all the way back to the 1840s on up into the Edwardian era and just a bit beyond. So here we go. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, number 22. 21, there's 23. Hey, there's 22 tucked inside another pattern. 1977. Okay, let's see, what do we need here? Fentex. 4 skeins. Oh, this might be a wearable because we've got different amounts in parentheses. So we'll just go with 4. But I don't know how many yards that is or anything like that. A crochet hook size K or size required to crochet to gauge. 5 buttons. 5 buttons. Gauge is 5 stitches, 2 inches. That does help. Okay. Well, kind of a short pattern, but that doesn't mean a lot. Ooh, we got to sew. We got seams. We got buttons. I think we got a wearable from 1977. Let me get some yarn. I'm going to assume a number 4 worsted weight or Aran weight. And of course we have a gauge, so the gauge will help. Okay, so I picked this really pretty color here. I have 2 full skeins of it. Hopefully that will be enough. It says that 5 stitches equals 2 inches. I got basically 2 inches with 5 single crochet. I did look over the pattern, and a lot of it I'm going to do just off camera because it says right here for back, and we have a front. I'm pretty sure this is some kind of a wearable. Chain 59 and work even in single crochet through back loops of each stitch only on 58 stitches. Chain 1 at the end of each row to turn until 17 inches are done, or these numbers in the parentheses from the beginning. And then fasten off and do the front. And the front starts the same way until you reach 5 or 5.5 or that many other stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and create this panel and start the front because it's just back loop only single crochet. There's not much to show there. We do have, it looks like some kind of shaping around here. I continue to read, and we're doing decreases and then working even and more decreases and sewing. So I do have a lot to do on camera, but this whole portion right here, I can just get that off camera real quick. So I will be right back. Okay, so I have 5 inches made on the second panel. Here is the entire first panel, 17 inches in, 17 inches up from the first row. Okay, so now, let's see here, front, work even until 5 inches. Obviously, whatever this is, I'm making the small size. I can only speculate that this is like small, medium, large, extra large. That's my speculation. Okay, so it says here, now that I've completed the 5 inches, I am to decrease 1 stitch at the beginning of the row and repeat this decrease every other row at the same edge. So now I'm going to turn this way, and all of my decreases will just be on one side. So it's like it's going to go, maybe we're making a V. Does it come back up? Let's keep reading. This could be the start of a V-neck. Could this be a top? Okay. So it says here, at top edge, work one row even. Okay, so yeah, decreasing every other row. Wait. Oh, no. Read it correctly. Okay. So repeat this decrease every other row at the same edge for 3.5 inches or 4 inches. I'm assuming for medium, 4.5, again, purely assumption for large, and 5 for extra large. I don't know. And if that is the sizes, bear in mind, these are 1977 sizes. So they're all going to be smaller than by a couple of inches than today's sizes. All right, then it says to work one row even. So once we've achieved, again, working for making the smallest one, once we've achieved the 3.5 inches, just work one row even. And then blacked out here, work even until 10 inches. Wait a minute. So we're not going to be increasing until 10 inches from the beginning. So not 10 additional inches, but 10 inches from the beginning. And there's, if you want to follow along, there's the different sizes. Again, I'm going to assume that's small, medium, large, extra large. If you wear a large, I would make the extra large. But first things first, we don't know if this is a top because now it's not telling me to work back up. So I assumed it was a V-neck, perhaps not. So watch this video all the way through first, and we'll see what it is and how this one fits with our modern hooks and our modern yarns. I mean, we know at this point this is a wearable. Let's keep reading. Okay, for 10 inches from the beginning. So again, not 10 additional inches, but 10 inches from the beginning on up. So we will work for 3 inches from this row up, but then 10 inches, so another couple of inches basically, because I have 5 here. I'm going to be adding 8.5 inches, so another 1.5 inches. I work even for another 1.5 inches. And it says here, same length as last row. Okay, turn, work one row even, then increase. Aha! Increase 1 stitch at the edge of the next row and every other row for 3.5 inches. It is a V. I'm thinking it's a top and it's a V-neck. Okay, for 3.5 inches and top edge. 58, 60, 60 stitches. Okay, work even. Oh, that's how many stitches we should have. Okay, then it says to work even for 5 inches. So basically how we started. So there's all this inch that's needed. You know, the great thing about working this in inches, if this is a wearable, which I'm fairly convinced at this point that it just reads like a wearable. Because we're working in inches and not rows, you can use any yarn, any size hook. You can even use something really small, and whatever this is, make it less chunky in appearance. You can make it more demure, as the kids like to say these days. Yeah, you can use any size yarn and hook whenever a pattern is written in inches instead of in rows. So that's really nice. You just don't have to worry about getting it right because it's going to be right. It's based on inches per the size you need. Finishing off, sew blank seams, sew side blank, leaving 6 3/4 or 7 or 7.5 or 7 3/4 at the top for, I'm going to say neck. I'm going to say neck hole. So I don't know, seams, shoulder. Maybe it's shoulder seams. Armhole seams. Maybe that's shoulder. It's important to know this because where do I need to leave the 6 3/4 inches? Leaving 6 3/4 open at the top for the, I think that says neck. Work 1 row of single crochet around, I don't know, bottom edge, I guess. Omitting, I'm going to say that's neck opening. Next row, 5, okay. All right, we'll worry about all that then. I think this is a V-neck top. Let's see how it winds up looking in the end. It's a bit chunky for my taste. If I had known what it was before, I would have probably opted to use a little bit of a finer yarn, like something like this, for example. And this is actually an alpaca silk yarn. This has a beautiful drape to it. This is the tube top that I'm making, I'm knitting. And you can see the difference in using just a smaller yarn compared to this worsted weight. This is a light number 3, a light DK, and a worsted weight. And the difference is, yeah, so if you wanted to follow along with this, maybe a finer thread or a finer yarn, and just keep going, follow the inches as it's described. All right, let's move right along. So instead of skipping the first stitch to decrease, because I hate that step, you know, the way it looks like it's stepping down, I'm just going to go ahead and draw up a loop in the first stitch and in the second stitch and do a double crochet or single crochet decrease. And then work my back loop only. Okay, I will be right back whenever it's time to decrease again. Now it says every other row, so on my way back up, I will not be decreasing. I'm going to go ahead and work in this last stitch. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I worked from the decrease stitch down, came back up, and now I'm ready to work my next decrease. And, oh, I should be marking this because I'm supposed to keep track of how many inches. So let me mark that first stitch. Because I am oh goodness, what a mess. I am supposed to be keeping track of this, so this right here will mark my first stitch, so I can measure from this point right here. Okay, and then work my next decrease. There we go. And then back loop only. All right. So I recommend if you follow along to do that too, just mark, because we got to do this for only 3.5 inches if you're following this size. All right, I'll be right back whenever I have 3.5 inches of decrease rows worked. Okay, so I went ahead and worked the additional rows here where we don't do any kind of decreasing, which brought the whole piece up to 10 inches as it says here. So worked the 3.5 inches for the edge, and then I worked 1 row even, and then work even until 10 inches from the beginning. Then it says here, turn, work 1 row even, then increase 1 stitch at edge of work. Now, I don't need to work 1 row even because the way it worked out for me, I'm at 10 inches and I'm already at the top. I think it wants you to work 1 additional row if you're down here at the bottom of the piece. So at the top, which it does say to finish at the top and at top edge. So, I mean, that's a different part, but it does talk about top edge. I'm going to assume this is the top edge. I'm already at 10 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and start the increasing now, since I'm already here. So I'm going to do that by working 2 single crochet into the first stitch every other row. It doesn't say to do that, but it seems obvious. And I'm going to mark this first one here because we've got to increase for 3.5 inches. Just like we decreased for 3.5 inches on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and do that every other row. I'm going to work 2 single crochet into the first stitch. And whenever I am done with 3.5 inches, like I said, like most of this is just homework. So whenever I'm done working the 3.5 inches and at top edge, work even for 5 inches and then fasten off. And then we will work the finishing ups together. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of this panel off camera. Again, that's going to be 3.5 inches of increases and then 5 inches of just working plain across. So I'll be right back. Okay, so this is how the front panel is looking. Not quite the V-neck I envisioned as I was reading the instructions. So I read the rest of the pattern to see what we need to do next. And it says here, so it's like at this point, I need the rest of these to be uncovered, you know? So I guess side seams, so maybe shoulder seams, because I have to go based on how wide is this word. You know, you see how some of them are real wide. So could that be shoulder seams? So side, I don't know why, but seams. Why black that out, but not that one? Leaving 6 3/4 of an inch at top for, I'm going to say neck or head hole. Yeah, I don't know, but you know what? I'm just picturing this is, oh, there's no sleeves, by the way. I read the rest of the pattern. The rest of this is all like adding frill. There's no sleeves. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew this precisely the way it looks and leave a portion open for the arms. I'm just going to do it on one side and then count how many stitches and match it for the other side. Or do I need to do that at all? Just leave it open like this, like a tank top. I bet that's more correct. There's no sense in leaving. That's dumb. Why did I think I needed to do that? That's dumb. Yeah. So sew the shoulders and then skip a bit down. It doesn't really say how much. It does tell you how much to leave open for the neck hole, but I feel like this is the neck. So maybe 6 inches is for the arms. Let's just look. No, that's a pretty, I mean, I guess. Does that seem like a pretty big armhole to you? Boy, everything is catching on my stitches. Okay. Make sure that the neck is visible. I mean, let's just look at 6.5, for example. I think that's a fair amount. So I'm going to go based on that. And as far as the neck portion, I'm just going to leave this part right here open. That's all I'm going to do. This doesn't need to be on here anymore. So I'll mark that. I am going to need to cut. I thought I could just join. Well, I guess I can go ahead and join the shoulders. I can leave it on for now and at least join this side of the shoulder. Then I will cut and come down here and join this and then do the same on the other side. But let me go ahead and mark this. And want 6 3/4. That's going to be Is that going to show a lot of underarm though? Maybe just 6 inches? 6 1/4? Maybe just 6 inches. Maybe not. And I didn't pin the right stitch. Okay, well, I pinned it at about 6 1/2. I'll go down one more. Okay, I pinned it at about 6 1/2. Like if I were to wear this, I wouldn't want the arms hole open too much. I don't like when my armpits are out. And I meant, that's dumb. I don't like when an armhole is open so big you can like see your side bra. I don't like that. So I'm just going based on if I were making this for myself. I think I'd go 6 1/2 inches on that. And I'll match that on this side. You're going to want to pop up on me. So why don't I just pin you down? And I want this to be relaxed so that it matches. Nice and relaxed. And make sure I get it just right. There we go. This stitch right here. All right. Time to do some seaming. Okay, I think I'll go ahead and start at this shoulder here. And since there is no wrong side, right side, that doesn't really matter. We're going to create a wrong side, right side. Let me get myself closer to the camera here. I don't know why I was sitting so far back. Okay. And I guess I'll just join it right there. Or actually, what I could do is pull this through here. Make for a cleaner join, like that. And I think I'm going to do a slip stitch just to reduce the bulkiness. All right, well, I guess that'll be my next stitch there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and seam everything up, and whenever I come back, we'll work on the edging. And then it said to sew on some buttons. Well, I found some buttons that I bought a while back, only because I thought they were pretty and Joann's was going at a sale. I've got these buttons here. They're kind of sparkly. You can't tell that they're sparkly. The silver in there, you can't really get that sense of the sparkle. Maybe a little bit, but I thought these would look nice on here. I think that's a nice color, and they're kind of small. I don't have a lot of small buttons. I mostly have huge buttons like this for making like crocheted bags, like coconut buttons and stuff. So I'll use these. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, let's zoom out a little. All right, so everything is all done now. I'm running out of this color, so I'm gonna edge it with this color, which I think will actually be kind of pretty. So this was kind of a loosely, you can see that it's kind of a loose worsted. You know, it's not high quality. Let's see if that helps a little bit. You know, it was kind of loose and also kind of thin. And this one here is also loose and it's just as thin. So it should work out pretty good because not all worsted weights or Aran weights are the same. Okay, so I know that it said to edge it, and I'm going to assume that's on the bottom because obviously the sides are closed up. It goes on to talk about the neck hole. I'm going to call it the neck hole. Look, I can't confirm that that's what any of this stuff says, but I'm just going to assume. So I sewed all that shut. Now it says here, shell stitch trim. So I'm assuming that's the bottom. Work 1 row of single crochet around. So work 1 round of single crochet. I'm going to say that says bottom edge. I think that's the word bottom. Omitting neck opening. Okay, so we're just going to work this on the bottom and we're not going to work the neck opening at all, I guess. Or at least for right now. So we have the single crochets, 5 double crochet in the first single crochet, skip 1 single, single in the next, single, skip 1 single, repeat from here around, fasten off. Work the same trim on, I don't know, the armholes, the neck. Work the same trim around the lower edge. Oh, wait a minute. Do not fasten off. Okay, wait a minute. I really think that I, at this point, need these words uncovered. I'm going to keep going. I'd love to know what that is. That's a long word or group of words. Okay, so work 1 row of single crochet around. That's a short word. So maybe it doesn't say bottom. Arm edge, maybe? It would have to be. Omitting opening. Omitting opening. What? Well, since it talks about repeating this at the bottom, I can only assume it's armholes because it says here omitting. Maybe this says arm opening. This is neck edge. Oh my goodness. I don't know what to do. Too much vital information has been blacked out. And that's not Justin's fault. That's literally the name of the game we play. Okay, well, omitting. Wait, does it talk about doing the neck? Right side facing, work 1 row of single crochet around neck opening. Look, it says neck opening. That wasn't blacked out. Confirmed this is a top. It says neck opening. Okay, so if neck opening is worked down here, then maybe it's armholes. And then we do the same thing at the bottom. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start right in the armpit. See, is that a stitch? Sure seems like it's a stitch. Maybe it's not. All right, I'll start right here. Oh, wait a minute. Do this from this side. Okay, we'll start right here then. Well, it said, you saw it, it said neck opening. I didn't see that word before. Can you believe, isn't it crazy how sometimes you can be looking right at something but not comprehend it? And then you feel so stupid. In the end, you feel so silly, like how could I be so oblivious? Well, when you're hyper-focused on something, it's easier to do than you think. I wonder how many times you all saw the word neck opening and I simply did not. So don't beat me up. I was focusing on other things on the pattern rather than looking for hints, Remember, I'm the makee, not the viewer, so my focus is on other things. All right, I'm going to go ahead and work this round of single crochet and then come back and start that shell. I'll be right back. Okay, so I worked it all around and I joined with a slip stitch into the first single crochet. And so now we're going to work 5 doubles in the first single crochet. So I'm going to go ahead and start that with a stacked single. Okay, so that makes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I remember it said to skip 1 single, work 1 single, skip 1 single, and then repeat the shell. And that this is to be repeated all around. Of course, if my stitch count is not right, I'll fudge it, you know. Like if I have to, I'll work like 2 singles into 1. I'll make it work, in other words, because there's no guarantee that your stitch count's going to be right. Okay, that's 5, and then skip 1, work a single, skip 1, work a shell. All right, I will be right back. Okay, so I got the sleeve portion done. There and there. That's how that looks. Oh, I got a little nubby to cut off. I think there might be one over here too. Yeah. Okay, so that's how that's looking. Now I just have to do this on the bottom. So I will do that really quick. And I think I'm going to join on the side. Yeah. Okay, so I'm on the side. There's the sleeve there. And I'm just going to join on the side seam here. So not much to show here. Again, this whole pattern is mostly homework, but I'm just going to repeat this on the bottom. Okay, so I finished this up all around the bottom. So let's see, what does it want us to do next? Okay. Same trim around the lower edge. Do not fasten off. Next row, 1 single crochet in the center of 3 double. In the center of 3 double, I did 5. 5 double in the next single. I think I can picture it. Yeah, I think I know what they're trying to say. In the 3rd double over. Okay, so I need to slip stitch over then. So or we're supposed to work doubles over the singles. So maybe I just start with a double right here, and I will go ahead and do the 3 chain here just because it's so tight and awkward here. I'm not going to try to work a stacked single here. Let's see how well this works out. Boy, that one stitch is being stretched out. Let me pick up another strand down here, see if I can make that a little more stable. Okay, so that's 3, 4, and 5. And then 1, 2, 3, single crochet. Nope, just 1. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1 single crochet here, and again. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and work this all around, and I'm going to join right into the top of this part right here. I'm going to work my single and then just join with a slip stitch there. And I think, while I really widened out this, will that ever relax? No, that's okay. Okay, and then we fasten off, right side facing, work 1 row of single crochet around the neck opening. Chain 1 and turn. Next row single crochet in each of the first 2 stitches. Okay, well, we'll do that part when we get there. All right, I'm going to finish working this all around and then I'll be back. Okay, so I just finished reading this. I'm all done with the bottom part. And it says here, okay, right side facing, work 1 row of single crochet around the neck opening, chain 1, turn. Next row, single crochet in each of the first 2 stitches. Then here starts the repeat. Chain 2, skip 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 singles. Repeat from here around 4 times more, then continue in single crochet around. I'm a little confused. Okay, fasten off, join yarn to right side of neck opening and work 1 row of single crochet along that side only. What side? So when they say right side facing, does that mean this part here, this being the right side, since they're saying that side only? Is this the right side? Working 1 single crochet in each single crochet and in each chain loop, sew on buttons. And I'm not sure where to sew the buttons onto since nothing needs to be closed, you know. So, okay. Well, right side only, so I guess I start here, right in the front. That's what I'm going to assume. And it says we're going to work a round of single crochet. And then chain and turn. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I've worked the single crochets all around. Now it says next row, single crochet in each of the first 2 stitches. Okay. 1, 2. Now for the repeat, chain 2, skip 1 single crochet in each of the next 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then repeat that. But not really. Okay, each of the next, repeat from here 4 times more. Okay. Okay. So chain 2, skip 1. So this makes 1 of 4 times more. Okay. Now 2 of 4 times more. I'll be right back when I'm done with all 4. Okay, so that's the 4 times more. Here's the first one. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it says here, then continue in single crochet around, fasten off. Okay, just the process. So single crochet in each stitch around, I guess. And then fasten off. I'm not going to weave it in though, in case this is completely messed up and I have to unravel it and try it again. Of course, I won't know if it's completely messed up until I get the picture. And And it might not be worth fixing if we see how it's supposed to look in the picture. I don't know. Because the faster I can get this one done, which has taken me several days now, the faster I can move on to the next one. So here we go. Okay, so that's done now. And it says here, fasten off, join yarn to right side of neck opening. Well, I was just here. Well, I feel like I didn't need to fasten that off at all. Unless I did the whole thing wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. And work 1 row of single crochet along that side only. Working 1 single crochet in each single crochet and in each chain loop. Sew on buttons. Okay. I wished I hadn't cut this off. You know what? There was no point in it. Oh, that's fine. I'll just rejoin. I was going to tie the 2 ends together, but that's fine. Okay. So, didn't need to cut. I mean, maybe, I'm sure I'm not doing it right, but I have no photo or anything. So, work 1 row of single crochet. Are these the buttonholes? Are these buttonholes that we made here? Probably. Probably. So, 1, 2. So I'm just going to work along what looks like buttonholes, because then they say to add the buttons, but I'm not really sure what we're fastening here. I don't know where to put the buttons, but I'm going to do the work and we'll see what it looks like. I think I'm going to grab the photo before I add any buttons, because that's just pure blindness on my end. I just don't know what's happening here. I don't know where. I think this is the last one here. Nope, 2 more. Okay. So do these buttonhole areas. That's what I'm going to assume. They look like buttonholes to me. And then one right here. I will slip stitch there. Okay. Does it go like that? Does it go like that and it's decorative? Does it go, well, surely not. I don't know. I'll be right back. Okay, I have the photo here before I show you. Here is what I did based on my best effort to read the pattern blindly. Here and all the way. This is kind of fanned out a bit. Kind of cute. Okay, it is called a shell-edged shell. And I'm guessing that's where the buttons go, and that was not made at all even remotely clear. Now, if they had said, come down so many inches and start working single crochets around here and then up, that would make more sense. You know what I mean? Like, get the yarn. Let's see here. If they had said, okay, on the front of the piece, come down about, say, 5 inches. Let's just pretend a number here. 5 inches, and pick up some stitches, right? And start working single crochets on the front of the piece. Well, the struggle. There we go. Just like that. And then work a row of single crochet across and then up and around the neck. And look at that. That would have worked. See there? That would have worked. But that's not the instructions we got. Right side facing, work 1 row of single crochet around the neck opening. Chain 1, turn, next row single crochet in each of the first 2 stitches. We start getting into what I can only assume are buttonholes that are meant to be here around the neck. So at no point was that made clear. Now, if it was 1977 and I'm looking at this pattern with the photo, this is what I would have just chosen to do. Based on how the pattern is written, I would have just opted to do this and said, okay, I'm just going to make it look like the photo and go from there. That's what I would have done. All right, I'm going to go try this on. And my hair is a mess, so I will wear a hat. But I'll show you what it looks like on. I can tell you already, it's too short for me. I like my shirts to be 22 inches long. It might not be too short with this added bottom, but let's see. I like my shirts to be 22 inches long. That is like 22, 23 inches. I like a long shirt. This one is with the shells, it's 20.5 inches. So it's going to be too short for my liking. But this pattern here, you know, you can use, like I said before, you can use a thinner yarn and you can make this as long as you want. All right, I'll be right back. I'm going to go try it on and show you on camera. So it's way too short for me. I'm going to show you what a longer top looks like that I prefer, but here's how it looks. It's a good child size, and I would say it doesn't really matter. I know this in the parentheses, this seems like it's the small size, but it has plenty of give and ease. Okay, I'm going to show you why this doesn't work for me. Hang on. So this is the length I would prefer if I were to crochet myself that top. I would probably also omit the double layer of the shells. I might do the 1 layer of shells, but I think the double layer, I like the way it looked on the sleeves, and I think I would like it the same on the bottom. And I would definitely make it a point to stitch up the middle and create that false closure. But yeah. Okay, so that is our mystery pattern this time around from 1977. There you go. And there we go. Boom. Okay, guys, that's going to do it. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more, subscribe and check out my playlists. I've got lots of mysteries and I've got full-blown tutorials that span across all decades going as far back as the 1840s. And if you like me, you've been around for a while and you want to support the channel, I do have a merch shop. You will find the link in the description box down below with new designs coming up very soon, at least, especially whenever I get my computer back, which by the time you're seeing this, I've gotten my computer back. Okay, guys, I love you lots, and I'll see you in the next video really soon.